Hey everybody, it's Shaman Sister Sin, and you're listening to the Meditations and More podcast brought to you by littleshaman.org. That's me, the Little Shaman. Today I'm going to talk to you about something that maybe doesn't get enough attention, and that is the enablers of narcissists. Narcissism does not exist in a vacuum. It can't. Therefore, there are always enablers. Enablers are the people who support the narcissist, defend the narcissist, fight for the narcissist, people the narcissist recruits to their side. These people are usually called flying monkeys, and I'll be doing an episode of the show specifically about them in the future, but there are other types of enablers as well. These are the people who might not agree with or defend the narcissist, but who enable the narcissist by putting up with their behavior, or rescuing them, or bailing them out of the catastrophes they manage to create in their lives. These are the people who say, she's your mother, you need to forgive her. Or, how can you abandon your husband when you know he has problems? Or, I give in to your sister to keep the peace. These people usually don't have a malicious motive. Like flying monkeys, they often think that they're helping, but they're not. They are actually reinforcing the narcissist's behavior and making the problem worse. The more the narcissist's behavior works for them, the more they're going to do it. This is just like a child throwing a temper tantrum. If the tantrum is given into, it will be repeated. If it's repeated and given into often enough, it becomes a pattern of behavior, and eventually the child knows no other way to react. They're simply doing what they have been taught will work. What they have been taught by implied consent is allowed and even expected. If one spouse hits the other and the assaulted spouse does not leave the relationship or call the police, they've taught the batterer that this behavior is acceptable because there have been no consequences. Therefore, the behavior will likely be repeated. Why wouldn't it be? If every year Aunt Nettie has a meltdown at the Christmas dinner that ruins the holiday for everyone, but every year she's still invited, she's being told that this behavior is acceptable. Sure, people might fuss and complain, but that doesn't matter to narcissists. They often crave chaos, in fact, because it helps them feel validated and alive. Nothing is happening to prevent the narcissist from behaving this way, though. They are not losing anything because of it, and they're still receiving the attention that they're seeking. There are no consequences. This is enabling the narcissist, whether people choose to believe that or not. If every time you draw a line in the sand, they cross it, and then you just keep on drawing more lines, eventually they're going to realize that these lines don't mean anything, and they're just going to keep walking. And soon you're going to find yourself boxed in with nowhere to go. I hear it all the time. I can't just turn my back on my husband, or my daughter, or my sister, or my dad. My question is, why not? There's no reason to put up with abusive behavior from anybody, ever. The only reason people put up with abusive behavior is because they have been conditioned to believe that this behavior is okay. It is not. There is nothing anywhere that states you have to continue relationships when they are toxic and abusive. You may believe you're proving something to the narcissist by staying in the relationship. Well, you are. You're proving that they can treat you however they want, and you'll put up with it because their well-being matters to you more than your own. You're telling them they don't have to treat you any better because you don't believe you deserve it. That is unhealthy, and it's toxic. It's also exactly what they want to hear. The narcissist wants you to set yourself on fire to keep them warm. They are bottomless pits of need, and nothing you do or give or show them will ever be enough. In a very real way, they're like vampires. They are unable to sustain themselves or fulfill their own needs, and they have to leech off of other people. The mechanism they employ in order to do this is abusive. Allowing that in your life is teaching the narcissist that this behavior is okay. More than that, you're teaching it to yourself. This makes it that much easier to keep putting up with it. There's a large amount of guilt involved in relationships with narcissists. People say things like, yeah, but if I don't take care of the narcissist, who will? Well, this might sound a little harsh, but that's their problem. The relationship with a narcissist is like the relationship with an infant. It is completely and totally one-sided. The parent is the one who gives all of the time and love and attention and attending to, while the infant simply needs, with no reciprocation and no understanding or even acknowledgement of the parent's feelings or even of the parent as a person at all. It's like the example I often use about the child that's screaming and screaming and screaming. The mother is sick and has a fever and she's exhausted and she is sobbing because she cannot cope. Does the child have pity for this? Of course not. They're not capable of understanding the situation. The child just knows they need something and they can't get it themselves. This is the dynamic we see in narcissistic relationships. The difference is that infants grow up. They will eventually see their parents as separate individual people with separate individual needs, wants, and feelings. Children will become whole, separate individuals that can take care of themselves and attend to their own needs. They will eventually love the parent back. For whatever reason, this does not happen with narcissists. Narcissists stay in that infantilized emotional state forever, simply needing and needing and needing, and taking and taking and taking, with no understanding of other people as people at all. They will take everything if you let them, and like an infant, they will never stop to think about or consider you at all. This is where boundaries come in. Boundaries are the lines in the sand that we draw and we say, if you cross this line, if you do this thing, I will not go forward in this situation anymore. Boundaries don't work with babies, of course, but they can work with narcissists because narcissists are not babies. They are capable of changing their behavior when properly motivated, and they know the difference between right and wrong. They know what consequences are. Examples of boundaries might be, if you hit me, I'm calling the police. If you disrespect my children, I will no longer remain in this relationship. If you continue to cuss at me, I'm ending this conversation. If you don't calm down, you're going to have to leave. Boundaries should clearly state what is not allowed and what the consequence will be if the boundary is not respected. People who enable narcissists generally do not have clear boundaries. Their boundaries are not strong, and they are not upheld when the narcissist crosses a boundary. So someone who enables a narcissist might say, if you continue to cuss at me, I'm ending this conversation. Then the narcissist cusses at them again, but they still stay on the phone or they don't walk away from the conversation. This teaches the narcissist that the person's boundaries don't mean anything, and consequently the narcissist doesn't have to respect them. People treat us the way we allow them to treat us, and that's really true. Boundaries can be tough with a narcissist because, like a stubborn, rebellious child, they will cross every line you draw in the sand just to do it. So don't say things you don't mean. If you say you're going to end the conversation if they cuss at you one more time, then do it. They will then see that you're serious. This leaves the choice up to them. If they want to respect your boundaries, the conversation will continue. If they don't, it won't. In this way, you respect yourself, you protect yourself, and you stop enabling the disorder that is controlling and ruining everyone's lives. If they don't want to respect your boundaries, they're free to leave. See ya. You wouldn't let a 2-year-old be in control of the entire family. That would be ludicrous. So don't let an adult narcissist, because it's the same mentality. Stand your ground, state your boundaries, and stick to them. It's up to them if they choose to respect them or not. Now, what if the enabler is not you? What if it's somebody else, and they will not listen to you when you try to tell them that their behavior is harmful and is in fact enabling and perpetrating the problem? This can be a difficult situation because enablers of narcissists are often living in as much of a fictitious reality as the narcissist is when it comes to this. A lot of times we're talking about a long-term enabler, so the pattern is often very deep and very, very established. You're likely not going to get through to this person. Their entire identity may be wrapped up in, quote, helping the narcissist, and they're in just as much emotional danger as the narcissist if this pattern does not continue. They are likely enmeshed with the narcissist, which means that interpersonal boundaries are so poor and so weak that the enabler cannot tell where the narcissist begins and where they end. The narcissist problems are their problems. The narcissist feelings are their feelings. They may defend the narcissist, they might get angry when confronted, or they might simply deny everything. You might hear them say, I'm doing the best I can, or it's not me, it's the narcissist. These are actually both narcissistic statements in and of themselves, spoken by people who don't really want to take responsibility for the things they're doing or change them. And you already know what that means. It means it's pointless to even bother. No contact is still and always will be the best strategy for dealing with narcissists and with their enablers. Again, narcissism cannot exist in a vacuum. There are always enablers. When these enablers are identified, they should be subject to the same rules as the narcissist. If that's no contact, then it is. It's sad because this can result in going no contact with people that you love, but they're not protecting you, and they are in fact enabling the narcissist to abuse you and other people. So it's up to you whether you think you deserve better or not. I hope you think you do. I hope this clears a few things up for you. As always, I'll look forward to your comments, questions, and suggestions, so please keep those coming. You've been listening to the Meditations and More podcast brought to you by littleshaman.org. That's me, the Little Shaman. May the Great Spirit bless you, and have a wonderful narcissist and psychopath-free day.